Good evening. First off, we have a service announcement for everybody online watching. We are trying something different tonight. We found a little switch on our control board that allows us to put a picture within a picture. So the main screen on your computer, your iPhone, whatever you're watching on, is going to be the slide presentation, and then down in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see me, okay? You have no control over this. We have control of your computers, okay? There's nothing you can do about that. So just sit back and enjoy that, all right? This is what happens when, when Jim sends out an email or an message to the deacons and says, what do you think about, Wednesday night? Do we want to wait until August, or should we want to start right up? And I said, I really missed it. And he said, Lee, you want to teach? So, be careful what you wish for. And not only that, that was a group announcement. He did that and asked me that in front of all the other deacons too. So, yeah, I haven't done this for a while. We did it a couple years ago when Scott, Tim, and I were rotating, and then John came in and filled a whole lot for us, and now we're back at it again. Maybe Claude will do it when he gets back, if he ever gets back. He gets called out really fast, so you might see me a whole lot. I don't know. But let's see. There we go. Tonight we're going to talk about, or Wednesday, we're going to study the life of Paul, the Apostle Paul. We have this outline that goes through different stages of his life, the early stages, the missionary journeys and all things like that. So it's a very organized setup. Ring in the hello. He always gives me looks when he does that to me. But this night we're going to start covering the early years of Paul a little bit. So the outlines are when you're doing something on the life of, and not really a biblical teaching or anything like that, it is pretty short. Paul, he was there when Stephen got stoned, and that's it. All right, let's move on. So I find some other things to fill this in. If you know me, I like to find details on why things are there and question all kinds of stuff. But here's a quick little one, in case you ever thought about it. This is Israel. You can't see the numbers on there very well, but Israel, Israel is basically, 262 miles long and 71 miles wide, and has 8 million people, give or take, right? Depending on what paper you look at. This is New Jersey. New Jersey has a little 8 to 9 million people, and his landmass size is just about 200 million Israel. Here's Israel and Florida. Just so you know, a lot of our things will be taking place in Israel, but then we'll also be going up along the Mediterranean, up to Rome, and all kinds of fun places in the Middle East. But I just thought, all this stuff goes on about Israel all the time, and it's all skid in this one little area the size of New Jersey, basically. So to get going, again, we had the outline just really had some little bullet points, and I found some filler for it, okay? But this is basically going to be some word association, okay? Biblical word association. Think about free association of thought, okay? But basically, we're starting out with Jacob and his 12 sons. What has the Paul? But we'll see. But we're only going to talk about 4 of them tonight. But if you look in Genesis 49, you will see where Jacob goes through and blesses each one of his sons and gives a little prophecy. Some are sort of clear, some are, again, open to interpretation, you think this, you think that, Okay, so this part here is not going to be doctrine. This is just some thoughts and how, it's kind of cool how it goes together if you think of it in that way. But don't think of this as hard theology type of doctrine, right? But we have 4 sons that he picked out of the 12. Judah, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Benjamin. Okay, I do not claim credit for this. I plagiarized the heck out of this. It's all on TikTok. And And just to make it even better, the next day, another guy came on and discredited the whole thing, shut the whole thing down. But I already made these slides up, so we're sticking with him, okay? Okay, so Zebulun in 49, Jonah actually says he will reside by the seashore to the east. Now, you either got the Mediterranean or the Sea of Galilee, okay, in this area. And in about 1400 BC, Israel moved into the land, and they resided by the Sea of Galilee pretty much. Jacob made these predictions back in 1800 BC. Okay, again, these dates are, different people might have slightly different timelines. And there I said, there by the Sea of Galilee. Naphtali, he said, your people will bring beautiful words like a doe, like a deer, beautiful words. What I came up with was, Jewish singers, Probably not what he meant, but, beautiful words. There's some current ones and some older ones in there. But if you look at it this way, this is a free word association. We all know who the number one guy in Judah's line is, right? A little faster. There we go. So they brought this together. Jesus, Sea of Galilee, beautiful words. And if you look in Matthew 14:13, or 4:13, and leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is upon the seacoast in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali, fulfilling the words of the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah actually chimed in on this too. Land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, the way of the sea, beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, people living in darkness. And it's a slight, you could interpret this as a prediction, a prophecy of Christ. That's up to you on how that goes. But if you keep it in line with all the other ones, it kind of adds strength to those. But I thought that was pretty cool. The guy said, well, that the people didn't really go to Sea Galilee. They went over to the coast because they also said they would be boat, shipping people almost. And then these come up and say, I see a Galilee. So after I saw that contradict what he was trying to contradict, I stayed with this. Okay, let's see where we're going to go. Okay, so we have those three. We said all that really to get over to Benjamin. Why, these things are small, aren't they? But we know Benjamin, the youngest child of Rebecca. It's Rebecca, okay. The youngest child, the golden, the number one child basically of the whole line. And we know that and we looked at Judah, he's a son of Leah, the first one that Jacob didn't want. She was out there what he went there for, but look what came out of her line. So you can never second guess God. Everything works together for a plan. But we come over here, Benjamin is this is what Jacob said. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoils. Who wants that? Especially the number one little golden child, basically, this is your prophecy. Oh, good. So who can we think of? There's some people in history in the Jewish community that are like this, right? Ravenous wolves. And there was a Benjamite, a name standing, whose name was Kish, son of, so on, so on, so on, the son of Benjamin. And his name was Tall Saul. So King Saul comes out of the tribe of Benjamin. And if you want to say he was like a ravenous wolf, you certainly can. He was not the right guy for this job. He was what the people wanted. He was not really the one that God chose. But he honored their wishes and let them make him king. And he definitely spoiled that, right? So we got to get rid of him. And in pops King David, also from the tribe of Judah, not from the tribe of Benjamin. And the last point is, guess who else was from there? Saul, Tarsus. So Fred, there's other three don't have anything to do with tonight's sermon, but just saying Paul was from Benjamin, kind of slow and not a whole lot of information there. So Saul of Tarsus. And this is one of his, I asked them, did God reject the people? By no means. I am an Israelite myself, a descendant of Abraham from the tribe of Benjamin. There we go.